You are listening to a programme from BBC Radio 4.
Order, order.
Good evening. This is Susan Hume at Westminster. The government has come under pressure from MPs on all sides to rethink planned changes to support for people infected with contaminated blood. The government has said it will be spending more on helping those who contracted hepatitis C and HIV after being given infected blood in the 1970s and 80s. But campaigners have accused ministers of planning to reduce compensation. A consultation on a new payment scheme is due to end shortly. Labour's Diana Johnson led the calls for the government to think again.
It seems that many of the existing recipients will receive lower payments from the new revised scheme. The government's proposals would end all discretionary support, such as winter fuel allowance, child supplements and low-income top-ups, meaning that many people will potentially lose out, some by thousands of pounds each year.
David Cameron apologised in March of last year on behalf of the British government to victims. The Conservative Nadeem Zahawi said the current proposals were far from what those affected had expected.
They or their loved ones have experienced terrible illness and their lives have been changed or ended. Unfairness does not seem a strong enough word to describe it. That word is the best we can do, and the Prime Minister was right to apologise. But this consultation does not go far enough.
The Lib Dem and former Health Minister Norman Lamb said it was unacceptable to scale back help for victims at a time when the wealthy were being given tax cuts.
What about all those people, the loved ones, the children, the spouses, the partners, those bereaved as a result of loss of life? Those people, the government should accept responsibility for them as well.
Labour's Jessica Morden described what had happened to one child.
Colin went to hospital. He was 8 months old for a minor ear infection. As a haemophiliac, he received factor 8, which, following a Freedom of Information request, the family learnt came from a batch from Arkansas prison. He spent his short life fighting illness and died aged 7 of AIDS and hepatitis C.
Another Labour MP, Conor McGinn, intervened.
The Prime Minister's apology gave my constituent Sandra Molyneux hope that the wrong done to her and her family would finally be righted. Does she agree with me, though, that subsequent developments fly in the face of that, and that Sandra and thousands of others say to the government through us today, don't tell us you're sorry, show us you're sorry?
I think my honourable friend makes a fantastic and very well received point.
She hesitated there as applause broke out among victims and their supporters who were watching the debate from behind the glass in the public gallery. The Health Minister, Jane Ellison, said the consultation was continuing. She said she recognised the concern expressed by MPs, but £100 million of additional funding had been announced.
To date, we've spent more than £390 million on support for those affected, and this brings the budget for the next 5 years, the additional funds I've announced, to £237 million. And that means over the lifetime of the schemes, we project that the spend will be over £1 billion of support on those affected. And this money comes from the Department of Health budget.
And Jane Ellison promised that once the consultation ended, she'd ensure MPs had a chance to discuss the government's plans before any final decision was made.